Tina, what have you done to our picnic table?
It made me mad.
It made you mad. I see you have I see you have your Thor hammer.
Yes, I do.
Guys, we're tearing that out because we bought it at and the thing didn't last 2 years. So Miss Tina has got her dander up and she's got her 4-pound sledgehammer. So that's going to be the end of the picnic table. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new to the channel here, we hope you'll consider subscribing. But guys, we got a fun video today. We're going to put together another batch of our secret super soil, but this time we're going to tune it specifically to growing bigger and better garlic. So hang around till after the break. I'll show you how we do it. Alright guys, like I said, today we're going to be putting together a super soil mix specifically for growing garlic. Now a lot of you guys, if you follow the channel, you've seen us over the years harvest our garlic, and they've been some pretty impressive harvests. There's also several of our YouTube friends here that grow garlic from seed garlic that came right here from Bumblebee Junction. So we're glad to know them and glad to see them put our garlic to the test. But guys, gardening and in specific growing good vegetables like garlic is not an accident. Guys, it's done by design, and there's reasons for the things we do, and that helps ensure that when you come back year after year, you see us doing the same good harvest you saw the year before. So guys, don't leave it to chance. We're going to show you how to put together a soil. We'll show you what we put in it. We'll tell you why we put it in there, and you guys can have a chance at growing some good garlic of your own. It's not always as simple as just plugging the cloves in the ground. Though we are going to have a planting video that's going to follow this one. I'll put a link to it at the end here. But we are going to go ahead and show planting the garlic. But today it's all about building the soil. So we're going to get these amendments drug out here to the garden boxes. We'll show you how we put them in. We'll show you what we put in, why it works, and guys, we hope you enjoy it. Let's just dive into this footage. I'll show you how to make secret super soil specifically for garlic. Alrighty guys, these are the 2 beds that we're going to be setting up for our garlic planting. They are about 10 foot long and about a little over 3 foot wide, but they have sunk in. You can see where the organic material is broken down. We usually fill them about to the top, but they have sunk in a little bit. And rather than mix up an entire batch of super soil, which is what these beds were originally filled with, today we're going to make a soil specifically set up to grow garlic. So we'll go through all the details of what garlic needs, and we're going to add it to the soil, and I'll show you as we do it step by step. But this is going to be a soil setup or a reconditioning specifically for garlic. Alrighty guys, we've got these beds. We loosened up the dirt and then we spread it out and leveled it. But the next step is going to be, we've got a cart over here and we've got 6 bags of compost and humus and manure. Now you can look for bags that specifically say humus, but it's a substance that forms in environments like a forest, and it can take hundreds of years to form. It's not real nutrient dense, but it does help with your soil, and it also helps with moisture retention. So sorry I'm out of breath. We're working getting this raked out, but guys, we're going to go ahead. We'll get this manure and humus added to the beds, and we want it in there. We want to help hold the moisture, and garlic is a heavy feeder, so we want the nitrogen from the composted manure. So we'll get those added into the bed. I'll get them spread out. I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like. Alrighty guys, we've got our humus and manure added to each section of the bed. And we're going to treat the old super soil as just an inert planting material. It's had a few crops rotated through it, so we're just going to call it dead soil or inert. And we're going to build our soil from there. So I'm going to get this spread out, but we're not going to mix it in yet. We got a few more things to add before we do that. But I'll get this spread out and then I'll come back and talk to you again. Alrighty guys, it's the next day. We went ahead and finished up putting in our wood chips around the boxes there. You can see those in the background there. But we've got our cow manure and humus on here. But like most potting soils and stuff, it's pretty heavy in wood chips. They use it as a filler in a lot of things. So, and that wood is carbonous, and that's going to go ahead and leach a lot of the nitrogen out of the soil. The enzymes that break down carbons also leach out nitrogen. So we need another source of immediate nitrogen. So the first thing we're going to add to the beds is this 3-pound bag of blood meal. The blood meal will be a nice immediate source of nitrogen. It's not long lasting. We'll take care of that here in a little bit. But it's not long lasting. So we just want to get the garlic up with it. So I'll go ahead and get that on the beds and I'll bring you back and show you what we add next. Alrighty guys, we got the blood meal on there. And we're not going to stir it next. There's a few other things that we want deep in the soil. These are the things that the garlic's going to need when it first takes off. So the next thing we're going to be adding is this 3-pound bag of bone meal. And the bone meal is going to be there for the phosphorus. And that's going to help both because garlic is a root crop and phosphorus helps with root development. So when this first takes off, we want the garlic to be well rooted before winter gets here. So we're going to go ahead, we'll get this bone meal on here. Now I'll bring you back and show you what we're doing next. Alrighty guys, we got the bone meal on there, got it pretty evenly spread out. And like I said, we're adding the things that we want deep in the soil. But the next thing about garlic that we need to address is the fact that garlic likes a neutral soil, if not even slightly alkaline. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some of this pulverized lime. Now I'm not going to be able to tell you how much. I'm just going to spread it over the surface, just about like the bone meal. So guys, we're going to use pulverized lime because we want it to be faster acting than the pelletized lime. So this will get in there. It's also a good source of calcium and magnesium. So we'll get that out of this too. But we're going to go ahead and get this added in here, and I'll bring you back and show you what we're going to do next. Alright guys, we're going to break back in here real quick before I get this lime put on here. With just another real quick note. Guys, soil has a tendency to move towards the acidic when it's breaking down. Anything that breaks down tends to turn more acidic. You also have acid rain. H2O is pretty neutral, but it falls through our oxygen-rich atmosphere, and it becomes H2O2, or hydrogen peroxide. Now, that's a small percentage of the rain that hits the ground, but as you know, hydrogen peroxide is acidic, and that's one of the causes of acid rain and such. Not just the carbon dioxide in the air, but dioxide is also highly oxidized, and that's what oxidizes rain too. So what we're going to do, if you have any questions or you don't have a pH kit, you can go ahead and assume that your soil has turned slightly more acidic than it was the year previous, and you can just add a little bit of lime anyway. Won't hurt a thing. Alrighty guys, we got our lime on here. We didn't use too much, but we just want to make sure that we're closer to neutral than we were before we started. So what we're going to do now is these are the things that we want long-term in the soil, and we also want them immediately available to the garlic. So we're going to take the rake, we're going to turn them into about 3 inches deep, and then I'll bring you back and we'll discuss how we'll get this garlic to go, you know, long-term. We've got a couple more things to add, but when we get done planting, we're going to cover this with straw. And we're going to leave it, this is November, beginning of November, we're going to leave it until June without doing anything else for it. So if this seems like a lot of care, it is, but we're going to lock this up at planting as a kind of self-contained package, and everything needs to be in there when we do it. So guys, we'll go ahead and get this turned in, and then we'll bring you back and tell you what's next. Alright guys, we've got all of our soil amendments that we want to deepen the soil stirred in. We've got the beds leveled back out. But now we're going to talk about the things that we want to leave on the surface. Now these things will be covered with straw. And as it rains, the straw will keep the rain from beating it into the ground too fast. But it'll allow it to leach into the ground slowly. And that's what we want. We want these things for later stages of the garlic's growth. Now the next thing we're going to be adding is this clay breaker soil conditioner with gypsum. Now one thing that garlic needs and one thing that gypsum contains is sulfur. Now a lot of people will talk about the medicinal properties of garlic and stuff, mainly because it picks up a lot of sulfur, so do onions. But we're going to add this soil conditioner. It breaks up clay. Now obviously we don't have any clay here in the boxes, but we want it for the gypsum, and in the gypsum we want the sulfur. So we're going to go ahead and add this into the box, and we want it to leach down slowly and reach the garlic in the later stages of its growth. So we're going to leave it on the surface. Now it'll get turned in slightly as we plant the garlic, but it won't be a whole lot. Most of it will still be left on the surface. So guys, we'll go ahead and get this gypsum on, and then we'll show you what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, we've got our gypsum and soil conditioner on here. You can see it's the darker brown in the beds, but we used about half of that big bag. You guys saw the bag in the video. But the next thing we're going to do is we need a long-term feed to leave on the surface. We're going to be using this Job's Organics vegetable and tomato. It's a pretty well balanced feed, and it'll last a good while on the surface. It'll take it a while to leach down in, but it's got the right nitrogen to phosphorus ratio we're looking for. We're looking for about a 2 parts phosphorus to 1 part nitrogen. This is also going to be the source of our potash or potassium. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the surface too. I'll bring you back and show you what that looks like, and then we'll recap the whole project. Alrighty guys, we've got our Job's fertilizer on there. We ended up using about 1/3 of the bag, and we just got it dusted over the surface. But we want it that way so it can leach in slowly from under the straw. But let's go over what we got in the soil and make sure we've got all our bases covered. We have our compost and humus. That'll be our first source of nitrogen. Since our garden soil is heavy organics, we added a second source of nitrogen in the blood meal. We got our phosphorus in there in terms of bone meal. We added we added lime. Lime will be our source of calcium and magnesium. Plants need magnesium to make use of other nutrients and stuff. A lot of times you'll see us use Epsom salt, but in this case we're going to use lime. We've got our Job's fertilizer on top. We've got the soil conditioner with the sulfur in here. And guys, I think we've pretty much got all our bases covered. And like I said, this has to be a self-contained soil. We're going to cover this over with straw, and we're going to leave it for 6 months to produce garlic without any more help from us. So guys, we're going to add the planting the garlic in a second video, and we'll go ahead and get that one out soon. I'll try to put them out back to back, but we'll add our planting video here pretty soon. We'll show you how we do that, how we prepare the cloves, and then how we get them in the soil, and then how we cover them down. So guys, we appreciate you guys watching this. I'll be back up on the porch here in just a second, and I'll tell you all the things I probably forgot to say. Alrighty guys, that's about going to wrap it up for today's video. We appreciate you watching. Now, one of the things I did forget to mention in that final clip was the sulfur that came from our soil conditioner, but it's out of the gypsum. So you can use straight sulfur. You'll want to use it sparingly, and it's harder to find. We designed the super soil, like our other super soils, to be something that the average gardener can find at their big box gardening center. So all the things that we use today are available, you know, right there at the big box store. You can get out there and do it for yourself, and that's a lot of people have told us they really appreciated that. We didn't put anything in there that was too hard to find or too expensive. Guys, it's just a basic soil mix and covering the needs of garlic. and it just, you know, it has some very specific needs. It's a heavy feeder. It requires sulfur, and it needs to be covered down and protected through the winter. But it's okay if it goes ahead and comes on up. Don't worry about that. We'll discuss a lot of that stuff in the planting video. But we need to take care of a few little pieces of business here if you'll be real patient. Guys, we've got a friend over at the Keeping It Dutch channel. His name is Dutch, and he has created a new outdoor cooking channel. Now I'm going to put a link for it up here in the corner somewhere, but the name of his channel is Dutch Eats. But he's going to be doing some outdoor cooking, but many of you probably know him from his channel Keeping It Dutch, but you might not know about his new channel. So if you scurry over there, and on that first video, Dutch is having a $100 giveaway, and all you have to do is leave him a comment. But the comment, if you would, tell him Bumblebee Junction sent you. You can type anything you want in the comments, but tell him Bumblebee Junction sent you over there. He'll get a kick out of that, and give him an idea that you guys here supporting the channel are coming over and supporting him. So again, the name of his channel is Dutch Eats, and like I said, we'll float a link up here in the corner somewhere. But that's if you would, go over there and subscribe to Dutch Eats. We'll check him out. He made some fajitas the other day down by the creek. They looked wonderful. He's got his brother involved and his nephew, or his favorite nephew, as he likes to say. But they're having a good time out there, and it's going to be a great channel. Knowing Dutch, he's going to make it fun for everybody. And old Dutch is a carnivore. Guys, if you're a vegan, do not go to that channel. But he has promised to eat meat in every single video. So, guys, if you would, please head over there, check out Dutch Eats, and we would really appreciate it. But otherwise, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We really appreciate you spending your time with us. If you like the content, we hope you'll subscribe to the channel and maybe hit that bell down there. That'll send you a notification whenever we release a new video. Guys, that's a great way to keep up with the channel. And if you're new here, please subscribe. There's a subscribe button down below, and next to that subscribe button is a bell. If you'll ring that bell, that'll also send you a notification whenever we release a new video. Guys, that's a great way to keep up with the channel. But we really appreciate you coming by the channel. Thank you for spending your time with us. We'll catch you in the next one.